Hey everyone, I'm back, and today we're going to be talking about The Polar Express. And this movie came out in 2004, and it's directed by Robert Zemeckis. And I have seen this movie once before. I don't remember if it was in theaters or at home, but I saw it around the time it came out. And there were some parts of it that stood out to me. And while rewatching this movie, I was like, yeah, I've definitely seen the entirety of this movie and was pretty clear as to like where things were going. And I was like, okay, this movie kind of looks nice from how it's shot. And I did like Tom Hanks in this movie. I thought he did a good job. And I did like the music at times, although I do feel as though it was overused. But it did feel like Christmas, and I was watching a Christmas movie, and I was like, yeah, it's capturing that tone pretty well. And it had a couple of okay, I guess, action scenes, if you can call them that. Like, I enjoyed the scene on the ice, that was kind of fun. And one small detail that I did notice, and I might be slightly incorrect about this, but all the animals, they sounded like the animals that we saw on screen. Like the wolves sounded like wolves, a bald eagle sounded like an eagle, and so on and so forth. Not that they're in the movie a lot, but rather they sounded as though they were the animals that were being shown on the screen. So that was kind of cool, at the very least, and the tickets were kind of fun in terms of like how they were presented, and it's like, okay, that's a fun way to do that, I guess. But overall, I wasn't really big on this movie. It was entertaining enough while we were on the Polar Express, but once we get off of it, that's when the movie kind of loses me, and it just becomes very forgettable as a whole. And like the last section of this movie, I just personally didn't absorb much from it. There were some side characters that were pretty annoying for sure, and I didn't really connect with any of the characters, sadly. And I think that would have helped out this movie a lot if I were, but unfortunately, I just was completely. Unfortunately, I was just completely detached from any real emotions attached to this movie, or at least what they were trying to go for. And while this movie is at its best while it takes place on the Polar Express, one thing that was kind of distracting for me is that I never once felt as though any of these characters were cold at any point. Like they're constantly outside of the train, and sometimes they're on top of the train or just right in front of it, and yet it's snowing out and none of them look like they're cold. Maybe there might be some magic involved to preventing that, but I was like, this doesn't feel authentic. And I get it that it's supposed to be kind of magical, but they never addressed that. I have no idea why. Now to talk about the elephant in the room, that being the animation, because some people think it's creepy and their eyes are just soulless. I personally don't feel as though I would criticize the animation for those specific things. My problem is that it just felt like I was watching video game cutscenes. That's more or less what I was reminded of. Like I was watching a video game cutscene from the early 2000s. I was like, this is just something that would show up in there. And all the hair, not all the time, but more often than not, just looked like it was attached to their head. Like in Toy Story, like Woody's hair is just plastic, and that's how I felt about the hair in this movie. For the most part, it was just plastic. It just didn't work for me, unfortunately. When it's not focused on human characters, it's kind of fine. Like the train, I have no issues with how the train looks. It's just those characters, I just feel like I'm not watching a movie when I look at them. And there are some pointless things that happen in this movie, like losing the ticket. I was like, why does that need to happen? It just didn't need to be there, honestly. And this movie, it wasn't offensively bad to me. It was just kind of boring once we got off of the Polar Express, and just kind of forgettable. Not the worst movie ever made, just nothing special in my opinion. It worked better for me when I was a kid, but now that that's passed and I'm a bit more critical of what I watch, it doesn't really do much to stand out also. It's currently on HBO Max, so if you're curious to check it out, there's a way to do so, but I'm probably never going to watch this movie again, so skip it would be my recommendation. And with all that being said, I'm going to give The Polar Express, a 4 out of 10. Thank you for watching my videos. As always, if you enjoyed this review, be sure to leave a like and comment down below your thought of the Polar Express, and my social media links. They will all be in the description, so follow me there. And last but not least, subscribe to be a part of Foley Nation, and I'll see when I get my next review up, and that is going to be for The Conjuring Last Rites. So look forward to that, but until I get that up, thank you for watching and have a great day.